And just getting rolling here. And we are live. Welcome, welcome. My name is Keith Hampton, and I am a very happy customer of a company called BitcoinTAF.com, excuse me, or known as Bitcoin Trend and Forecast. BitcoinTap.com is an amazing organization of like-minded people that have come together to benefit all of us newbies wanting to get involved in the cryptocurrency space. How to invest in cryptocurrencies, when to buy, when to sell, uh, background knowledge, how to trade, when to trade. All these factors are involved in BitcoinTap.com. It's training and education and guidance. And believe me, folks, over the last year, I got to tell you, I really needed that guidance because what was predicted by everybody in the marketplace has simply not panned out. That's the amazing part. If I was on my own, I would be very depressed and disappointed now because I wouldn't know what's going on because I've been let down. I've been told that we were going to have an alt season this last year. The altcoins are going to run to the moon, all these stories, and they've done what? They've done the exact opposite. And to find out why is the key. And that's where a group like BitcoinTap.com comes in. They are a phenomenal organization that really gives us good guidance and tells us what's going on in the marketplace, what's happening, where it's going. So this is the website that I recommend everybody go to. It's bitcointap.com. And you know what? Why don't you sign up for free and then explore what these folks have to offer? It is incredible. I really got to tell you, there's so much here to offer. And literally, there's something for everybody. So if you're like me who like to know what's happening now and why it's happening now, why didn't it turn out the way we thought, where we are, where are we going, and all this sort of information. If you'd like to know that, then I highly recommend that either you sign up for the long-term trading reports on Bitcoin, or if you, and I should say, and sign up for the Elliott Wave reports. Now, if money is an issue, I would recommend just the Elliott Wave reports. And because you'll get the overview on Bitcoin and then you get into the depth of the different altcoins. This to me is invaluable. If I had not had this subscription, as I said, I think I'd be pulling my hair out at this point in time. But instead, I'm very calm, very relaxed, and with a lot of confidence, knowing what's going to happen in the future. So that's the difference. You know, if you want to be in this space, you need to be involved in a group or community that supports you and wants you to be the beneficiary. This organization could don't even have to exist. They could all be trading on their own, making gazillions of dollars, but that's not who they are, and that's not what they're about. The team of BitcoinTap.com, which includes Marius and Wendy Landman, Nico, and Corey, are just amazing. The amount of effort and time they put in to help us is just truly amazing. So if you're looking for that kind of information, the Elliott Wave reports to me is your best bang for the buck. Now, once you get involved in this, one of the biggest things that you should be looking at is education and training, because without that extra bit of training, you really can take it to the next level. So we have a path that you can take. One is the self-paced or the live foundational trading courses. These courses are phenomenal to get you started. Once you've gotten a good foundation, then really the next step is the ultimate trading course. Folks, this course here is by far the best that I've seen in the world. I have taken other trading courses in the past. I've paid 3 times this amount and got 1/3 the value. This course here is so complete that when you complete this course, it'd be like getting a PhD at a university level. You become your own analyst. That's how powerful it is. And it's just amazing. I really got to tell you that the combination is truly significant. Now, as all things in trading, the world is constantly changing. And what we have now is we have a lot of cryptocurrency trading on decentralized exchanges. And so this is the next level that you need to seriously take a look at, the ultimate decentralized finance trading course. This is, again, just taking it to that next level. So we have something for everybody. The key is to step in, with your feet in the water and slowly move through it. There's a lot of information. And I always say to people, look, don't get overwhelmed by the amount of information. Simply think of it as like eating an elephant. It's only one bite at a time. It's amazing over time what you're able to achieve and the knowledge you're able to gain. So with that, I wanted to also let you know that we have a little intermediary tool that was developed by Wendy Landman. And if you like to trade and you want to see how the value of what we have to offer, there's one little indicator that we put out into the marketplace very inexpensively for you to utilize. It's called the HODL Fire Indicator Bot, and it's only $31 a month. You can try this out for free for 7 days by simply just typing in HODL Fire 7 in the checkout area, in the coupon code area. This tool for people that are trend trading is invaluable. It really works well. Now, it works even better when you've taken the Ultimate Trade course and utilize all the other indicators that we train people on. But let me just show you the value of this little tool. But before I do that, my apologies. Let me just show you a chart here on Bitcoin. Now, this is a classic Bitcoin chart. Each candle is 3 days. And believe it or not, all of this you see written here was predicted by Marius Landman over 2 years ago on a macro level. This is a bit uncanny. That's the key, is you're getting information from algorithms that have been proven and developed over the last 25 years that are 100% accurate on a macro level. And the key now is where are we at and where are we going? We have so many people in the marketplace are saying, well, this is just a short-term blip, and then it's going to keep on going sideways. That's all. It's not going to go down anymore. We've got others saying, oh, no, that's just a reversal, that it's going to head back up. And there's some, not many, are saying that we're going to go down. The question is, which one is correct? Because this will make a big difference on how you strategize your investment. And then, depending on what this does, we'll have a feedback loop into what the altcoins do. So this is what's so critical, getting that long-term reports are all about. Once I know what this is going to do, then we get into what is the altcoins going to do. And that's the ultimate, or the Bitcoin long-term reports and the Elliott wave reports are so important. Now, that tool that I talked about earlier is called the HODL Fire. And it's an amazing tool. So I have a coin up on here called ICP, Internet Computer Protocol, and we have it on 2-hour candles. Now, what we are looking for is momentum, pivot tops and pivot bottoms. So you notice here we've got a pivot bottom way back here, and lo and behold, we got a pivot top way up here. Now, you'll notice that we've got a blue pivot bottom here and a blue pivot bottom, or pivot top up here. The reason why they're blue is that it's not 100% confirmed. There is a probability that that may not be the bottom, or a probability that it may not be the top. It's a high probability that it is, but it's not 100% guaranteed. So how I play this is I like to use it with other confluence. And this is where, if you're using just this indicator, what you're looking for is a bottom pivot, and then you're looking for a buy tag. Now, you'll notice there's one hidden right underneath here. That's what it looks like over here. So once I get that buy tag, then I know there's a higher probability that the coin is going to go up. And so that at that point, that's where I would enter the trade, at this buy tag. Now, this coin can still turn and go back down. That's the problem. So what I do is I want to protect my capital. So what I do is I set a stop loss on a centralized exchange just slightly below that bottom pivot. In other words, I want to protect my capital. In this case, if the coin goes south on me, I'm really only risking a small percentage of my investment. In this case, it's about 6%. So if you had $100 on there, you'd be risking $6. Now, as this coin starts to go up, what I do is slowly I move my stop loss up to break even. Now I've got a risk-free trade going. So no matter what happens, I'm going to be safe. And I will watch this coin, and as it gets moving up quite high, I will start moving my stop loss into a stop profit. This is basically how I guide it. I always leave it lots of room for these wicks because you never know when you get wicked out. And ultimately, what I'm looking for is a pivot top. And at that point in time, that's when I would have executed the trade. I would have got out somewhere in that range. And in this case, had I taken this trade, we would have risked 6% and locked in 57% profit. Now, this is a coin that really runs. That's why I like the cryptocurrency market. The secret is that we have lots of training and education to help you find coins that are about to do this, that are about to run. Had we gotten in back over here on its original buy tag, holy smokes, folks, we would have made, oops, it's the wrong one. Let me just change that. I got the wrong indicator. Here we go. Just let me need to do my apologies. Had I taken this trade on the back here on the buy tag and rode it all the way up to the exit point, we would have locked in a nice, healthy, I'll even be conservative, and we would probably set the stop loss here. We would have locked in a lovely 81% profit with a risk here of about 5%. So that's a risk reward ratio of 14 to 1. I mean, that's phenomenal. That's not happens on very often, but it does happen. But even here, when you're talking 40, 50%, and you're only risking 5%, that's the beauty of this. The key is using it for longer term cycles. I like to use it on 2-hour and 4-hour time frames at the most. I find it works extremely well. But now, let me just jump to another chart where I use other indicators from the Ultimate Trade course. And now we're looking at the same ICP where we were following this coin on the medium-term trade reports. We've got pivot bottoms. We got different strength or support and resistance zones that were already pre-drawn weeks before this happened. So we already knew where this coin was going to go, where it was going to have some struggle, and what have you. And lo and behold, we would have been using these indicators and we would have gotten in, let me just grab we would have probably gotten in right about here. And we would have gotten, and the reason we would have done that is because we have a bottom just breaking up about here. And we have a crossing of this right here. That would have been a good indicator as when to enter. Now, ironic, if I would have used the hollow fire, I would also gotten a buy tag back here a little earlier, so it was a little more aggressive. And so we would have gotten in, we would have lost maybe the difference of being aggressive and not aggressive. We would have lost the first 20%. But again, we would have ran that from here all the way up to the pivot top. We still would have made 130%. These are on 4-hour candles. So that's the beauty of this. You can see what's going on. We can see that we're above these moving averages, these EMAs and bull lines. And that's an extra bit of confluence that this is going to go the right way. Back in here, there was still a lot of risk. That thing could have turned and gone south on us. So this just reduces the risk and gives you a higher probability of profit. And you'll notice that as we got up into resistance zones, it had pullbacks. Went through that resistance. Now we got resistance up here. We're getting a pullback. And we now have a red candle here. And back in here, we would have exited because of this indicator right there. And we're also seeing this indicator is turning and heading south. We also were known to get out at that point. So these are all the factors that we would use on making the decisions of when to get in and when to get out. Now, that's the training and education, or the results of the training and education that they provide us. Now, it's taken me a lot of time to learn all this, but that's the beauty. I'd rather slowly learn this to be more successful at my trading as opposed to gambling. And that's really where most people get into this market wrong. They make a bet and then they try and ride it as opposed to try and do risk management. And that's the important thing that I wanted to bring up today. So, do you have any questions? You're more than welcome to unmute yourself, ask a question, or pop a question into the chat area, and I'd be more than happy to try and answer that for you. So that's just some of the things I wanted to talk about this morning. Is there's so much here to offer for all of you folks that are looking at this in our wonderful Bitcoin TAF.com. The key is it's a very new market. It's very volatile. You need to have good guidance. You need to have people you can trust to help guide you through the volatility so you know where we're at and where we're going. That's really the bottom line. I can't express that enough. So if you're like me, I just invite you to take a chance, sign up for free, take a serious look, depending on where you're at. If you are a trader, I would highly recommend that you take the trading courses. If you're an investor, I would highly recommend that you subscribe to the long-term reports and the Elliott Rate reports. And then from there, you've got a foundation, and then you can grow, and depending on what you're looking for. If you are saying, hey, you know what, I like to have a mix, a little bit of investment in crypto, but I also like to invest in the stock market. We also have incredible predictions in the stock market on certain key stocks that you can follow. So again, there's something here for everybody. And that's the key. I want you to know that we have your back, or I should say they have your back. I am so blown away. As I said, if it wasn't for them, I think I'd be pulling my hair out right now. So I'm so pleased that I got involved with them 10 years ago, and they've just changed my life. So with that, I'd like to thank you for listening to me this morning, and hopefully we'll see you on the other side. Take care. Have a great day.